Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Treasure Travel, and here's her story. I am full no contact with my two NPD parents, Joe and Joanne. Joe and Joanne. I didn't even realize. That's nauseating. I had been between 80 and 95% no contact with my parents for a 3-year period prior to full no contact. I did not decide to go no contact lightly. On the contrary, I decided for decades to engage my parents in a loving, friendly, and mutually respectful relationship with my family, which includes my husband and 2 kids. Their criticism, pettiness, disinterest, anger, and rage that occurred with every visit and most phone calls was devastating to me. As the following account will emphasize, in a relationship with narcissist parents and with siblings who are codependent or also narcissists, you are damned if you do and damned if you don't, so don't. The narcissist family dynamics are so complex and toxic that only full no contact is the same path. I hope that sharing my experiences will help others. After my very last visit with my parents when I was 48 years old, I finally had full understanding that it was very unhealthy for me to try to have any type of relationship with them, so I further cut back my contact. I had been instinctively and gradually pulling away from their poison for decades, but after that visit, I dramatically withdrew. I did not know the term narcissist at that time and did not know that their behavior fit a common pattern of disorder described in psychiatric textbooks. By 2014, my brother had been no contact with our entire family for a decade, so the concept of no contact was not foreign to me, but I still felt obligation and guilt that made me believe that I was required to maintain partial contact. Although I did not want to call and talk with my mother on Mother's Day 2016, I did feel an obligation to send flowers. I sent her a lush, expensive arrangement with an included card from an excellent local florist that would be delivered the day before. Given that I was about 95% no contact at that time, why did I bother? Well, for 2 reasons. First of all, I thought it sad for my mom if 2 of her 3 children did not contact her on Mother's Day. Who cares? Who cares? That's what she deserves. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be sad. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be sad. That's the point. If it's not sad, then what's the point of no contact? You see, and that's the problem. It's like when you miss, you're going no contact, but you kind of miss a lot of the points. Yeah, the major point is to be away from them and away from the abuse. But why? What's the other? So you want to go no contact and want them to still be happy? No, it's supposed to be sad. They have to explain. They have to make up some bullshit why you're not there, why they don't get anything for Mother's Day. That's the whole point. My low contact and not wanting to talk with her was all about protecting myself and was never a tactic to hurt her. Secondly, I did it for the benefit of my relationship with my sister. My mother is notorious for driving wedges between my family members and takes every opportunity to do so. Yeah, but we know your sister's just a covert narc. We know your sister's just another covert narc. Your sister's not an honest player in any of this. She's just playing her role. Occasionally she slips out of her role and then has to come to you and tells you what you want to hear. Okay, but your sister's just as much of the problem as anyone else in your family. I figured that the bouquet would deprive Joanne of a histrionic opportunity to try to convince my sister that I was a horrible, uncaring person. We're going to do that anyway. The point, listen, it's, I guess, another Mother's Day. It's my first Mother's Day without a technical mother. Booty hooty hoo. Weep. Dude, I wanted her to be miserable on Mother's Day. I wanted her to make up these fucking lies on Mother's Day. I wanted people to know. That is your no contact is your statement to the fucking world. Okay? And the thing is, as depressing as holidays can be, being no contact for us. Okay? There's a point we're making there. We are telling the world there is a fucking problem with this demon. We are telling the world this is not right. I don't accept this. That's part of the point of no contact. Why should she have a bouquet? Why? So she doesn't bash you, which she's been doing your whole life anyway. For your sister, who you're trying to keep this weird balance because you didn't want to admit to yourself at the time, because you always knew deep down she was fucked up. You always knew deep down your sister was a narcissist. You delay the inevitable reality check. And that's what it is. You're delaying your inevitable fucking reality check where you have to just accept reality for what it is. Your sister's a full-blown narc, your family are full-blown narcs, and your mother should be alone on fucking Mother's Day. Just like mine. I wanted my mother fucking making up lies about me on Mother's Day because it meant she had to because I wasn't there. It means she has to explain herself. What mother wants to have to explain why her children isn't around on Mother's Day? No matter what horrible lies they tell about you, the fact that they got to do it on Mother's Day, you know what? You should be taking some satisfaction in that. That's the point. My sister, who lives in the same town as my parents, dutifully went over to their house on Mother's Day 2016 to visit and give a gift. My sister then called me the next day to complain about Mom's behavior. Of course she did. Because she's been playing you the whole time. This is the game that fucking Precious played with me. This is the same game. I almost used your name again. This is the same game my Precious would play with me. Which is why when I finally had my reality check about him and I realized the game, it's on with me and him. It's on and he knows it. He knows it. He knew the jig was up when I finally snapped on him. He knew it. Shit, it's up. Jig's up. We lasted for a good 40 years, okay? But now the jig's up. Or however old he was at the time. 34, 35 years, however old he was at the time. Jig was up. This was a predictable pattern for my sister. She would cheerily go over to our parents' house for a holiday, bearing gifts, wine, food, and be shamed and criticized, and then would call me in a hurt and angry state to vent about her ruined holiday and to get a reality check. Wow. Who really needed the reality check here? Who needed the reality check? Not her, you. You. Because you were the one not accepting the no contacts reality check. This is the same shit my brother did to me. This is my same shit. He'd go over, break bread, sit there with my ex-wife and daughter, and then call me and complain about it, the little prick. This happened every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, and most Mother's Day. My sister gave me the usual account of how Mom complained about the gift she brought and how Mom was generally negative and rude, but then my sister proceeded to reprimand me for not calling Joanne. I told no, my brother never went that far. He knew better than that. I told my sister that I had confirmation from Conundrum Floral that the flowers I ordered were delivered the day before with the card, so in fact, I certainly had contacted and honored Joanne on Mother's Day. right here with that. Even though I had not phoned her. Yeah. Wipe your ass with your phone call. My sister was baffled as she had not seen the flowers at their house and neither of them mentioned it. But rather, they had led her to believe that I had failed to wish Mom a happy Mother's Day. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit. If your sister wanted the truth, she could have found it. Okay? They play along. Okay? They play along. They play along. My brother played along. Your sister accepted the terms of the fucking game. Okay? The reality check is yours, not hers. I realized that either Joanne threw the flowers away or hid them in the back room prior to my sister's arrival in order to promote the narrative that she and the poor mother of a rude, neglectful second daughter. Or your sister just ignored them. She left them out and lied, and your sister ignored them. My sister and I discussed this, and my sister agreed with me that Joanne's deception on this matter was typical manipulative Joanne behavior. Yep, she wanted to still go there and break bread with it, right? Right? Fast forward to Mother's Day 2017, I decided to send flowers once again, but this time I thought to derail my mom's ability to gaslight my sister. Cleverly, I asked my sister if she would like me to include her name on the card, and my sister said yes. I ordered and paid for the $150 bouquet. My sister did not offer to contribute, of course not, and I did not ask her or expect her to do so. Because she's using you. God, she's setting you up for something here. Once again, I scheduled it to be delivered the day before. I reasoned that since both of our names were on the card, it would be impossible for my mom to tell my sister I had not recognized Mother's Day. You keep playing this game with it, and you keep going back and taking the same bait, okay, because you haven't accepted your reality. You hadn't accepted your reality check. I thought this would also prevent my mom from trashing the flowers, and I also thought that my strategy would prevent her from twisting the narrative in order to somehow use Mother's Day to make my sister angry with me. Or it's going to prove your sister knew a little bit more about the 2016 flowers than she was acting like she did. Let's see. But as you will see, I was wrong. As I expected, I got a call from my hurt and dejected sister. Same call, right? Like, why? Why would she get the call? Well, hold on. Let's see. Maybe she's just dejected over. Interestingly, though, this year, her call came the day before rather than the day after Mother's Day. She had just gotten off the phone with Joanne. She had cheerily called Joanne to tell her she was planning on visiting for Mother's Day and wanted to bring over a prepared lunch or dinner. Joanne rudely told her that she didn't want to celebrate Mother's Day and was spitting mean. I reminded my sister that our flowers would be delivered later that afternoon, so she did not need to feel obligated to go over there tomorrow. My sister said that she certainly had no intention now of paying a visit. Are you sure she didn't already have the flowers? You sure she already didn't have the flowers and that's why she did what she did? Because you fucked up her little dastardly plan? Now, here's where the story gets very illogical and hypocritical with respect to my sister. My sister called me a week after that 2017 Mother's Day and said that Joanne had just called her, lamenting that none of her children had called her on Mother's Day. She actually thanked my sister for the flowers and told her to tell Treasure thank you as well. This was odd because historically my mother never gave thanks for a gift. I could sense over the phone that my sister was angry with me and queried her about that. She responded with a holier-than-thou tone that it was uncompassionate of me to have not have called our mother on Mother's Day. She continued, and I quote, "If you weren't going to call her then, why did you send her the flowers?" As if you were toying with her. Because I'm telling you what, your sister is not an honest actor in this. Your sister is playing a fucking game. And by you putting her name on that card and sending the file, you fucked up whatever manipulative bullshit your sister was up to. Your sister's not honest. Your sister's not an honest player. Your sister's a narcissist. We know this. I explained that although I did not want to talk with Joanne on the phone, I did want her to get flowers for Mother's Day. It was that simple, and there was no toying. I pointed out to my sister that she had no right to be angry with me, that she herself had not called Joanne on Mother's Day. True, she had called Joanne the day before, whereas I had not, but nonetheless, she had not called again and paid her respects on Mother's Day for the same goddamn reason as me. Neither one of us wanted an earful of Joanne's bitterness. I think it's obvious that my mom convincingly played the victim card here to successfully gaslight my sister once again. No, I think your sister was on her own agenda. Your sister's on her own agenda. Although my mother opened up the conversation with her, complained about all three of her children, I'm sure she quickly and skillfully shifted all the blame for her Mother's Day misery onto me rather than leaving any of it on my sister's shoulders. That manipulation was key to giving my sister's inner child the green light to desperately grasp for that conditional love from her mommy dearest that was so cruelly and sadistically withheld in her childhood. Right, and maybe that's what your sister's after, is that love and she's, I'm telling you, sister's got her own fucking agenda here. She absolutely does. At that point, it was easy for Joanne to sell the narrative to tell my sister that Treasure was responsible for all of Joanne's Mother's Day bitterness, and also for all of Joanne's bitterness in general, and also for all the fucking bitterness and disharmony in the family. So Mother's Day 2017 marked a pivotal change in my sister's relationship with me, whereas previously we had been able to intelligently and truthfully discuss the dysfunctional family and family dynamics, at least at a superficial level. Well, superficial level doesn't really do it, does it? My sister decided to viciously and unfairly turn on me. She was always going to turn on you because you never accepted the reality. You never had your real reality check. Superficial does nothing in narcissism. You got to dig deep to the core. Brass tacks. That's what I always try to get to. Root core, brass tacks. You're having these superficial conversations with your sister. You know they're superficial at the time because you don't want to push it. Because you know what your sister is. You know your sister's going to run back to your mother. You know it. You never trusted her. You never trusted her because you never accepted reality for what it was. My sister decided to viciously and unfairly turn on me. You always knew she was going to turn on you, just like I knew my brother would eventually one day turn on me. I knew it deep down. I knew it. I was waiting for it. It wasn't really a surprise. You just had to face your reality. I have to say that my poor sister, being the firstborn girl, was the scapegoat in the family for her whole childhood and most of her adulthood, and it scarred her deeply. With my mom driving wedges between us since birth, it's not surprising that the foundation of our sibling bond was too frail to withstand me resigning from the fake family harmony game and our mother's relentless sabotage. My no contact status highlighted the severity of our wounds, and my sister did not want to face that. My sister sent me a very mean, accusing, and hurtful email shortly after this phone conversation and told me she wished no more contact with me. This hurt my feelings, and I was sad about this for quite some time. Then I was a bit angry at her. However, I have reached a point in my healing where I just accept that's what it is. So when you finally face the narcissist reality. You can be on here and you can understand narcissism and still not really have your reality check. I am not angry with my sister. On the contrary, my heart bleeds thinking about her as a sweet and loving little toddler whose innocent little self-esteem was smashed to pieces by her own mother and father. As the female middle child, I was more ignored, and ironically, that was a blessing. I was never as trusting and sweet as my sister, even as a toddler, and I think that helped me preserve a shred of my self-esteem. That shred served to steer me further and further away from the rocky danger. As I've said many times on this channel, the most horrific and painful legacy of having NPD parents is that they ruin our sibling bonds. So congratulations, Joanne. You succeeded in doing that. And happy fucking Mother's Day. You can't make this shit up. Treasure Travel. P.S. The reason why I sent the two very expensive arrangements versus moderately priced ones was because historically my mom had complained every time I sent her flowers saying they were not fresh. You still grabbing that? You were still grabbing that at that hot stove, huh? Still. Because you didn't accept reality. She never thanked me for the sentiment, but instead just elaborated how they were not fresh. She always did this in the guise of saying that she thought I should know so that I would not be ripped off in the future by these bad flower companies. After switching companies 6 or 7 times, I finally realized that all these companies were fine, but my mother was not. Right. Your mother's the hot stove. Like, your mother's the hot stove. Your mother's the shit leopard that doesn't change spots. That's reality. This is your reality check. These are reality checks for you. One reason I selected the more premium option these last 2 times was the hope that there would not be a wilted petal with which my mother could focus her business and accuse me of a substandard gift. But the metaphorical and main reason for sending the exquisite flowers at the end was because it made it more like a grand finale as occurs at the end of a fireworks show, because in fact this was the end, the grand fucking finale, and you finally had your reality check. I mean, that's really what this is. I mean, this is, you hadn't accepted reality for what it was. You know, you still wanted to believe your sister was this honest player, and she was just, your sister's not. Your sister's off on her own agenda, and I'm sure she was abused. I'm sure she was, but she's never going to change. And you're just another tool for her to use. And she just uses you as an emotional douchebag. That's it. You are her emotional douchebag. Who wants to be that? Accept reality for what it is. And it seems like you've done it. So, good job. Thank you for another contribution and story, Treasure Travel. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.